If you want to end the tune, you just hold up your leg. You just hold up your leg a little. I know you can't see that. I don't know why I looked down. Camera two. Camera two, can you get a leg uphold? And that signals to everyone that you're trying to end the tune. Hey folks, normally on this channel we talk about more advanced and intermediate topics, but I've had a couple requests lately to do something for the beginners, so that's what we're doing today. This video is for you if you're super new to bluegrass, but you want to go to the local jam and you want to play a couple fiddle tunes. Now I'm going to be teaching you 3 fiddle tunes of varying difficulty, and I'm going to let you know what to expect at the jam when you get there. Now I am going to be showing the complete tabs in this video, but if you do want to purchase the tabs and help support me, you can go to my website, lessonswithmarcel.com, and you can do that. However, I am going to say real quick that I don't want you to buy the tabs. That's right, you've probably never heard that before. I actually don't want you to buy these tabs. If you're going to be good at bluegrass and you're going to succeed at these jams, it actually helps if you start committing these things to memory as fast as possible. So making the tab a little bit difficult to get to, for instance, putting it in the middle of a video that you'll have to open to check, will force you to learn these songs a little bit quicker. Anyway, before we get into the tunes, let's talk about a little bit of jam info that you should know going in. First of all, the term fiddle tune has become kind of a catch-all term for an instrumental tune when we're talking bluegrass. So we're not talking about singing tunes today. In fact, if you're at the jam and someone is singing a tune, some of the rules that we talked about today may not all apply. When a song happens at a jam, we have to communicate the name of the tune, the key, and any expectations about how we're going to play the song. For instance, you might hear someone say something like, hey, let's do Red-Haired Boy in the key of A, and, let's burn this one. As if to say, hey, let's play the song Red-Haired Boy. We're going to do it in the normal key, the key of A, and let's do it fast. Now, even though Red-Haired Boy is always played in the key of A, a lot of times that information is still shared anyway. I think people are just being courteous, in case anyone can't remember. Red-Haired Boy is normally in the key of A. If someone doesn't share that information and you're a little out of the loop, you can always just ask your neighbor and be like, hey, what key is Gold Rush in again? I can't remember if it's G or A. That's totally normal. Just like any other genre, most of the people at the jam are going to be very friendly. All right, so we've called the tune. Everyone knows what tune we're playing. Let's talk about what happens when you get to playing the tune. So at a bluegrass jam, everyone gets a chance at playing the melody and or improvising, depending on how advanced the jam is. These turns at playing the melody or improvising are called breaks, so everyone gets a break as it goes around the circle. Now, the length of these breaks are determined by the form of the tune. Now, the majority of fiddle tunes have an AABB form, as in we play the A section twice and we play the B section twice. And then it's the next person's turn around the circle. Now, some fiddle tunes can have C parts or D parts. That's potentially not even that uncommon depending on the kind of jam that you just went to, but today we're talking about very standard AABB kind of fiddle tunes. Now, when it's someone else's turn to play their break, it's your job to play rhythm and support them. No noodling over anyone else's break. Now, generally, the melody will go around the circle to everyone who wants a turn at the melody, who wants a turn playing a break, and when it returns to the original person, they'll either end the tune or go around again. Now, whether we're ending or going around again is communicated by either eye contact or what we call the boot. Now, if you started a tune, you're in charge of sort of hosting that tune. You have to make eye contact with people and let them know that they're next up for a break. If you want to end the tune, you just hold up your leg. You just hold up your leg a little. I know you can't see that. I don't know why I looked down. Camera two, can you get a leg uphold? And that signals to everyone that you're trying to end the tune. Normally, you would give that signal when you're playing the melody, as in, this song is going to end when I'm done with my A's and my B's. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but if you go to the jam and just hang back and watch everyone, you'll understand how they're communicating pretty quickly, I bet. Now, other things can happen. Everyone might shout something like, everyone together. But if you just keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, you'll understand what's going on. You'll be fine. One more small thing that I should say. If the jam you're attending is designated as a slow jam, feel free to bring your sheet music, maybe a stand. Other folks will likely be doing that too. Slow jams are normally learning jams. However, at a standard bluegrass jam, people will expect you to have these tunes memorized. You know the chords, you know the standards. You're ready to stand in a circle and jam without any music. All right, let's learn our first tune. So the first tune that we're learning is Old Joe Clark in the key of A. We're going to play that with our capo on 2nd fret using G shapes. This is a very common way to play in the key of A. Now, if there's 4 people at your jam, you're going to spend 3/4 of your time playing rhythm. So it's really important that we look at the chords first. It's an easy step to skip, but trust me, you'll be very happy that we worked on it as soon as you get to the jam. The chords to this tune are G, D, and F. Hopefully you're already familiar with those because I'm not going to go over how to play those chords, just how the rhythm works. Let's do that now. All right, cool. So looking at the sheet music, I can see once again that it says capo 2nd fret, capo fret 2 right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my capo right now. As I said before, the chords that we need to know are G, F, and D. Now you may notice that I didn't do the full F chord. I normally don't. The reason why is the only benefit I get from doing this chord is this low F note, and if there's a bass player there, I don't need to be doing that. You don't need that many cooks in the kitchen. So even though my thumb's coming over, I'm not holding down the root note. If we look at every one of these measures here now, measure is this distance, so in between the lines on either side. This would be another measure, this would be another measure, that would be another measure. You can see I've got 4 measures on each line. That's a really nice way to understand the tune because our A part is built up of 8 measures. Our B part is built up of 8 measures. It's the same thing both times, which is nice for us. Now if we're looking here, we can see this first line. So the first 4 measures are only a G chord and a D chord. And where I'm seeing that is right up above. I got a G chord here, I got a D chord here. Now this length of 1 measure, when you're playing the rhythm part, is normally a bass note, a strum, a bass note, and a strum. That would be true for every single measure we see here. So for instance, these first 3 measures are all G chord, they're all G. So all I want to play is bass note, strum, bass note, strum. That's 1 measure. Bass note, strum, bass note, strum. That's 2 measures. Bass note, strum, bass note, strum. That's 3 measures. So without getting too deep into a rhythm talk, normally when we're playing alternating bass, as in the bass note is changing every single time, I'm playing the root of the chord and the 5th of the chord. So if I'm playing a G chord, I'm going to play this low G bass note, and then I'm going to play my open D string. There's the first 3 measures of rhythm. And then I have this D chord right here. Normally I play my open D string and then my open A string. Just like that. Of course, this measure is only bass note, strum, bass note, strum. That's how long it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's as much time as I get on that measure. Continuing, let's look over here. These measures nice and easy, right? I got bass note, strum, bass note, strum, bass note, strum, bass note, strum. Here, look, I'm splitting this measure between G and D. So bass note, strum, bass note, strum. The last measure here is going to be all G. As I look down here, I can see this is all very, very similar. Here, look, here's even that measure that we split with G before. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this rhythm part through. I want you to see if you can follow along. Let's see if we can play it together. Now, the likelihood here is that this is going to be just a hair quick for some of you. So remember, you can go down into that settings wheel and you can change the playback speed and you can play along to it just a hair slower. But for now, I'm going to leave it at this speed for those that can keep up. And here we go. Let's play through the tune. So here comes our first A part. I count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our D chord. Here's G again. So we're in the middle of the second line. G, D, G. Here's the top again if you got lost. Here's our D chord. Second line. Alright, that was 2 A's. Here's our first B. B. Coming up on that F chord. Here's another B part. Here's that F chord again. Here's G, D, G. And that was 2 A's and 2 B's. All right, so now we can use our simple rhythm skills as a backing track to learn the simple melody of Old Joe Clark. All right, so looking at this melody, this won't be too tough to play, hopefully. So if we look at all of these notes here. You see how we're seeing a bunch of zeros, ones, and threes? Probably tells us we're going to be in first position, as in our index finger is going to be covering the first available fret here. We got 1, 2, 3. Those are the frets that our fingers are covering. If we look over here, we can actually see that we have open 2 and 4. That means we're probably going to shift to second position. That tells us a lot about where we're going to be putting our fingers during this tune. So taking just the A part, let's read that together. It goes something like this. Once again, when I see a first fret note, I'm using my index finger. When I see that third fret note, I'm using my ring finger. That is the second line. If you're reading up here, you can see all of these. These are pick strokes. So everything is a down pick stroke until we get to this fourth measure here. Look, we have an up, down, down, up, down. Let's look at this second line now. See a similar thing with the pick strokes. If you don't read rhythms, I think it would be best if I pointed out the pauses. So playing the melody again, I'm going to say rest where there's a pause. Rest. 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 Now, of course, that's the A part. We're going to play that twice. But now let's look at the B part. The B part just gets slightly more difficult, right? First thing we do is a slide. We're sliding from 4th fret to 5th fret. And then we're playing our open G string. Now, that sound, we call that a drone. Now, you can actually play a little bit of that 5th fret and an open G string together because they're the same note. If we look at the second measure here, our next fun thing we're going to see is some double stops. And actually, if you want to lower the difficulty just a little bit, if those double stops are hard to play, you can just play that higher note there, 3, 1, open. But I'm going to play the double stops for you. If you don't play them, don't worry. You can play the 2 different parts at the same time. It won't hurt anything. So let's take this. I'm going to play this whole thing straight through. Here we go. Rest. 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 Now that we've played the A part and the B part, I'm going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play it along with our rhythm track from earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4. Part. Again. That's the whole tune, 2 A's, 2 B's. So now that we know a simple version of the melody, real quick, let's learn an 8th note version of the melody. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking about this. I'm just going to play it for you, but the tabs will still be on the screen. You can spend more time with this if you want to work on it yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4. right, cool. So if that seems tough, just stop here. Go ahead and scoot that video back, and you can keep working on Old Joe Clark. There's no shame in doing that. Get it right. Make sure it's good before you go to a bluegrass jam. Now, if you're ready to keep going, let's keep going. So let's learn another tune. All right, cool. So the next tune we're going to learn is Angeline The Baker, sometimes called Angelina Baker. We're going to play it in the key of D with no capo using D shapes. So sort of looks like D, sounds like D, right? The chords we need to know are D and G, which you should definitely be familiar with already. And then we're ready to learn the rhythm parts. Let's do that now. All right, so cool. Let's recap everything we talked about last time. First of all, for every measure, right, we get bass note strum, bass note strum. You can see even the form is a little bit similar. There's one new thing that I want to point out, and that is the concept of a first ending and a second ending. So the first time we play this through, we play this measure. The second time we play this through, instead we play this measure. You can see they're only slightly different. This measure just has a couple extra notes in it. As we look at the B part, exactly the same kind of thing. When we get to the end, look, first ending, second ending. It's not that tough, I promise. So here we go. Let's play the rhythm first. Remember, this time, there is no capo, so I'm taking my capo off. I'm going to go ahead and play this all the way through. I'm going to call out where I am the whole time. So starting at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes G. Second line. First ending. A part again. Here's G. Second line. Second ending. Here's the B part. B part's looking mighty familiar. Last line. Alright, but we're not done yet. We gotta play the B part again. B part. G chord. Last line again. Second ending. Just like last time with that simple rhythm part under our fingers, let's see if we can learn that simple melody first. So once again, as I play this melody, I think the most helpful thing I can do is to point out where some of those rests are. It'll help you feel the time. So here we go. Rest. 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 Rest, rest, rest. A part again. Right? And we would go through all of that again. You will likely notice that I think the hardest part is probably going to be this measure because we have a bunch of eighth notes. We haven't seen that many eighth notes at one time yet. You could simplify this, but I'm going to pose it as a small challenge to you to work on that measure. So we go over here. Let's take a look at what we see. Just like when we talked last time about the numbers, I see 5s, I see 2s, I see 3s. Where can I put my hand so I cover all of those? If I put my index finger on 2nd fret, I see I'm covering 2, 3, 4, and 5. Each finger has a place, and I'm covering all of the necessary frets. So that very first note in the B part, you see how that's 5th fret? That's going to have to be my pinky because my pinky is the one covering 5th fret. So just this measure alone would have to be pinky, index, open, middle. Those are my fingerings. And I'm going to stick with those choices. Those are the choices that are very intuitive. They feel natural on your body. In this case, they force you to use your pinky, so I'm pointing them out especially. And I'm looking right at the camera. I'm staring into your soul. And I'm telling you to use your pinky, please. So let's read the whole B part here real quick. Here I go. Rest. Rest, rest. And that would get us back into the B part, and I would play all of this again, this time taking the second ending. Why don't we do it along with the rhythm track we heard earlier, and then you can hear what the melody really sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. just for fun, because you just learned that simple melody, why don't we go ahead and let's look at another version of the melody. So this time we're going to take everything we just played, we're going to drop it by an octave. And this is another common way to play that melody to Angeline the Baker. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so if those 2 tunes feel like a lot, remember you can just stop here. You can keep working on them. But if you're feeling good, if you want to do more, let's do one more tune. So you'll have 3 tunes to play at the jam. This last one's called Soldier's Joy. So we're going to play this one in the key of D again, but this time we're going to have our capo on 2nd fret, and we're going to be using C shapes. So the chords that you need to know are C, F, and G, and then you'll be able to play that rhythm part. You should definitely know those chords too. So let's learn that rhythm part real quick. No talking, let's just play it this time. Remember, we're putting our capo back on 2nd fret. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's that G chord. C is the 2nd line. 1st ending. Back to the top. Here's that G chord. 2nd line. Second ending. B part. Last line. Here's the 1st ending. Back to the top of the B part. Little fumble. Half chord. Is the turnaround. 2nd ending. That's it. All right, cool. So we can play the rhythm. Let's play the melody now. It's just like every other time we did it, but it's a new song this time, right? There's a couple neat things that we should note. First of all, this is the first melody that we've seen that has a pickup. So a pickup is a couple notes that happen before the first measure that get us in. You can kind of imagine this is a little tiny imaginary measure, right? So normally when we count off a tune, we'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, right? And that would be the downbeat. That's when we'd start. But in this case, this guy would take the place of beat 4. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Anyway, let's look at this actual melody. This melody might have a little more variation in it than the other ones, but it's still very attainable. Once again, we have the 1st endings and the 2nd endings. You definitely know what those are. We got A parts, we got B parts. Let's play this. That was the whole first line. If you've seen my videos on starting to improvise fiddle tunes, you'll recognize this as a tag phrase. If you're ready to take your fiddle tune playing to the next level, that might be a video to check out. It might be a little over your head, but that's okay. You can watch it anyway. There we go. There's our whole A part. Let's look at the B part now. Let's see how we do. Rest. 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 And depending on if we were playing the 1st ending or the 2nd ending, you can see things would change a little bit right there, right? If I was playing the 1st ending, I have these notes to loop me back in. This is the wrong pickup. This is a mistake in the tab. I gotta fix it before you download it. There we go. It's fixed now. These two notes would be a pickup back into this melody right here. You can see when the tune is ending or when it's going to the next person's break, we don't have that. We don't need that. We don't need those pickup notes because the next person will be playing those pickup notes. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Awesome job. So you now have 3 fiddle tunes to play at your local jam. To recap, we learned Old Joe Clark. We did that in the key of A with our capo on 2nd fret using G shapes. We learned Angeline The Baker in the key of D, no capo, using D shapes. And lastly, we learned Soldier's Joy. That was in the key of D as well, but this time capo 2 using C shapes. I picked these songs because they are simple and common melodies, but also all of these shapes and capo positions, they're very standard. And I bet with a little bit of brain power, you could now figure out how to play in the keys of G, A, C, or D, which are the 4 most common bluegrass jam keys. Remember, if you're at the jam, you make eye contact to give away or receive a break. And if you want something to end, just hold up your foot, and that's the boot. Now, if you like taking a lesson from the biggest, baddest Billy Goat in the barnyard, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, you can like, comment, subscribe, all the normal YouTube stuff. I appreciate that. You know what you're doing. I don't have to tell you what to do. You can also check out my website, lessonswithmarcel.com. All of the tabs that you saw on screen today are for sale there. But just like I said in the beginning, think twice before you pay for them because I bet it would do you better just to memorize them. Hey, if you don't pick up those tabs, but you still want to support me, I'll tell you what you can do. You can get some of the new merch. I love the new merch. This new shirt is so cool. Maybe there'll be an image on screen so I don't have to stand up. I've lost the ability to stand after years of YouTubing. Anyway, thank you for the support if you choose to give it. Lots of people are also signing up for Skype lessons. You could do that if you wanted to as well. But I'm done trying to sell stuff to you. Yeah, good luck at your bluegrass jam. I'll see you all in a couple days. That midnight train